My fault. I brought you to a nursing home where instead of a bath once a day, they gave you a bath every 2 days. How did I know? Nobody told me how important the dangers of septic shock were. What is septic shock, you know? Fact is, septic shock, I didn't know this until after you died. Then I look on the internet and find septic shock, the main cause of people's death in nursing homes and hospitals. What is it? An infection, simple infection. 1/3 of the time people get infections from urinary tract infection, and you had a urinary tract infection a month before you died in the hospital for a week, and nobody in the hospital, not one doctor would tell me that you were in danger of mortal death if you got another infection and dying from that. And not one person in the nursing home would tell me that, because they would risk losing a customer, and I would go back to the place where you were before that, where you got a bath every day and lived a year and a half without infection. So one day you have diarrhea, and because they're not cleaning, they're cleaning your diaper, and once every 2 days they give you a bath. So you died from diarrhea. Quick. You died from sitting there in your feces and your urine, and from filth, and from irresponsible, mercenary nursing home bureaucrats, and from a hospital that treated you for a urinary tract infection a month before and didn't have the compassion and the responsibility to let me know how dangerous it was for you to be living in that place where you only got a bath once every 2 days. In fact, after you died, I went there and I found out, after I found out about septic shock, I asked the attendant who took care of you every day, did Robert get a bath every 2 days until he died? And this attendant looked at me and said, yes. So I know that even when everybody knew, the doctors, the nurses, everybody knew that you're in mortal danger of dying from septic shock because you just had a urinary tract infection that they couldn't treat and they had to send you for a hospital. They knew that that was coming, and they did not change your schedule to give you a bath every day. So I can't say it's murder, but it amounts to murder. Callous disregard for the needs of a patient. Get him in there, get him out of there as fast as we can. Collect the money, minimum staff, minimum work. And if we kill a few people, if we kill most of the people, well, that's not our problem, you know. Administrative costs and all overhead, you know, that's the way it is. So you died by having to sit there in your own piss and shit. So these feelings of anger and frustration and pain are part of this dream work, because that's part of the reality. Okay? So where's my action in this dream? I'm watching this scene. So far it's a dream about me just expressing a pain. My pain. From my point of view, if I'm the dream worker, where's the conflict? Is there a conflict here? Where's the action in this dream? Just to let off some steam, that's not action. That's one of the stages. It's like I'm at the thesis, the antithesis stage here, because I'm feeling on the one hand, frustration. I couldn't do what I tried to do. So the other side of it is this bureaucracy that's saying, well, this is the way life is, Franklin. We kill off a few people, your brother one of them. That's just part of our overhead here. We have to do that in order to survive as an institution. If we gave everybody a bath every day, we couldn't build a new wing. You see the beautiful wing we're building, all those rooms, see all those workers running around, building all day long? We couldn't do that if we gave your brother a bath every day. So you see, we have to do that. So where's my association? Okay, so here's a moment of frustration for me. How about I close my eyes and do a little bit of Tzimtzum work myself here, see what I find. Going inside, I'm sitting here in my chair. I see my neck is really strained from all that tension. Breathing is also tense. All right, my eyes are closed. Feeling myself slouched over here. Comes to mind Robert's song. Ya, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. I don't know the words. Yeah, 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 Robert, your life was a sentimental journey, in a tragic sense. A slave to your passions. You didn't have the benefits of a meditative process. So it was like one storm after another. And the drugs, the amphetamines, rush that you bought in the street, and quickie philosophies. Scientology was another one of your things that killed you. One more step on the road to your destruction. All of these things that were ways of avoiding life rather than dealing with life. Until there was no way to avoid it anymore. If you don't deal with the reality of the situation will deal with you, and finally it happened. After all those struggles to keep you alive, I turned my back for a second, and you died. It was Sunday night. I left you there, and they said, "Oh, Robert doesn't feel well." So I go in there and I see you lying there, and you're looking at. I remember you looked at me that Sunday night, 2 days before you died. You were a day and a half before you died, and you were lying there on the bed, and you were telling me how it hurts. You're constipated. And I wanted to talk to you, but you didn't talk. Because probably at that time, your mind already was clouded and you couldn't talk very well. Because toward the end, you practically didn't talk at all. But I remember I said, okay, in that case, I'll just sit here and I'll work on my Hebrew. So I took out a book and started reading. And next day I look up and your eyes were like 2 full moons looking at me. As though you were trying to say something with your eyes. And I remember I misread the message. So I know that storytelling is something that you like, because I know the rabbi used to go on the Sabbath and tell you stories, and you liked that very much. So I thought of a story. I said, Robert, hey, you remind me of Tar Baby's story. Brer Rabbit's walking along the road and he sees Tar Baby. He says, "Hi, Tar Baby." Tar Baby don't see nothing. And Brer Rabbit says again, 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 until he gets angry, and next thing you know, he's slugging Tar Baby. And I told this story to my brother, who might have been even then beginning to go through the process of dying from this infection. And he looked at me with big open eyes, didn't say a word. I picked the wrong story, Robert. I'm sorry. That was our chance to communicate, and I didn't know what the right button was. I picked the wrong button. What I should have said, Robert, and I'll say it now, unfinished business, Robert. The eyes are the windows of your soul. I'm looking at your eyes, and I don't know what the message is. You won't talk. I know you have pain. You said something about you feel like constipated, but you've been having diarrhea, so being constipated, having diarrhea, and you have bad stomach pain. These are all the symptoms of septic shock, of serious infection. And the nursing home didn't know, and basically apparently didn't care enough to find out until they brought you to the hospital about an hour before you lost consciousness. And I got there an hour after that, and I sat there for 7 hours watching you die with all of those, with the respirator and everything.